Yesterday, you took to the streets of Brussels, sending a very strong message about the right to live independently and participate fully in society. And you shared with me your Freedom March demands, namely to improve personal assistance, end institutionalization, invest EU funds in community-based support services, and reduce the disability employment gap. I told you yesterday, and I repeat it here today, I am committed to bringing change. Today you are marking the 10th Freedom March, and you are also remembering Kapka Panayotova, ENIL's former president and a dedicated disability rights activist. Every movement is made up of countless individuals who have the tireless determination and commitment to defend their rights, but some do stand out more than others. Kapka's work was precious, and each one of you here today are carrying her message and your message of emancipation and equality. And with my participation, I support the important objectives of the Freedom Drive. I quote disability rights activist Judith Heumann, who will be speaking in the next session. When whole groups of people become segregated from others in our society, it weakens the fabric of our democracy. Distance and segregation are breeding grounds for failures of understanding and empathy, and ultimately, injustice and the denial of others' rights. Yes, persons with disabilities have the right to live independently and be included in the community. And to reach that goal, developing family and community-based services, accessible environments, and other conditions for independent living are essential. It is a commitment that the EU shares with member states. Yet, this process requires investment. EU funds can have a pivotal role in achieving our common objectives for the deinstitutionalization and independent living of all persons with disabilities, whether they are children deprived of parental care or elderly persons. The funds must be used in a way that promotes the transition from institutional to family and community-based care. And this must be done in respect of the EU Charter of Fundamental Rights and in compliance with the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. To ensure respect of these instruments, the preconditions for funding require the existence of effective mechanisms to monitor progress, including measurable goals and data collection. These should help ensure that accessibility policy, legislation, and standards are properly reflected in the preparation and implementation of member states' programs. Furthermore, member states are encouraged to ensure that developing family and community-based services, as well as investments in human capacity, are the first priority supported by the European Social Fund Plus. Infrastructure developments with support from the European Regional Development Fund must include investments in accessible and disability-inclusive social housing. I stress that the legislative framework of the funds provides that they should not support actions that contribute to any form of segregation or exclusion. The framework also requires that when financing infrastructure, accessibility for persons with disabilities should be ensured. As highlighted in the evaluation of our previous European Disability Strategy, European structural and investment funds interventions enabled member states to use EU funds to progress in their transition from institutional to community-based living in the previous programming period. But we are aware we have not yet reached our goal enshrined in Article 19 of the UN Convention, namely that of providing all persons with disabilities the possibility to choose freely where, with whom, and how they want to live. We are still in a transition process that needs to be supported and pursued. Too many continue to live in residential institutions across Europe. This results in their severely limited participation in society. And we saw how the COVID pandemic took its toll on persons with disabilities, particularly those in institutional settings. Therefore, the EU strategy for the rights of persons with disabilities reinforces attention on the process of deinstitutionalization, proposing measures to improve the conditions for autonomous and decent living. This reinforced focus is confirmed by two flagship initiatives. By 2023, the Commission will issue guidance recommending to Member States improvements on independent living and inclusion in the community to enable persons with disabilities to live in accessible, supported housing in the community or at home. This guidance will aim at supporting the necessary transition process. Subsequently, by 2024, the Commission will present a specific framework for social services of excellence for persons with disabilities to improve service delivery and enhance the attractiveness of jobs in this area, including through upskilling and reskilling of service providers. The European Care Strategy, presented on the 7th of September, sets an ambitious agenda. It has people at its heart, both the people needing support or care and those providing it. The strategy recognizes that inadequate support for families and for personal assistance undermine the right to independent living for many persons with disabilities. It announces EU-level actions to improve the availability, affordability, accessibility, and quality of care support services. The care strategy includes a proposal for a Council recommendation on long-term care, which calls on Member States to improve access to affordable, high-quality, long-term care and provides guidance in that respect. The proposed recommendation sets out several quality principles that Member States are invited to respect in their long-term care policies. Independent living is embedded in these principles. The employment package was launched at last week's Czech presidency conference in Prague. Its series of actions, which will be rolled out over the coming year, will contribute to reducing the employment gap of persons with disabilities. And the Together for Rights campaign was launched today. The campaign is a key action supporting the strategy for the rights of persons with disabilities, and it will raise awareness, help combat stereotypes, and promote the rights of persons with disabilities. It has been designed in consultation with and for persons with disabilities. And it echoes the message that ENIL and its members have been voicing for a long time: nothing about us without us. I invite you all to join us in raising awareness and promoting the rights of persons with disabilities through the campaign. And I will continue to work with you to achieve a Europe where persons with disabilities can live independently and participate fully in society. I thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the information about all these different initiatives. It will be very exciting to follow them. I haven't had a chance to look at the campaign yet, just briefly the employment package, and I have questions. Just one question, Stephen and Stephen, or okay. We do have one question which Stephen Allen for validity would like to ask.
Thank you very much, Madam Commissioner. Welcome to this important event here today. I think we all welcome your personal, but also your political leadership in making real progress on the implementation of Article 19 of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And we look forward to the further actions that you have outlined now unfolding. The question goes as follows. On the 9th of September this year, the United Nations Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities published its global guidelines on deinstitutionalization, including in emergencies. This important document asked state parties worldwide to end the institutionalization of disabled people within short timelines, ensure access to disability support services, such as personal assistance, peer support, and support for all children to grow up with their families. Commissioner, what steps will the European Commission now take, in addition to the ones you have just announced, and the European Strategy on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, to ensure full implementation of the guidelines on deinstitutionalization in their entirety? Will you consider today informing us that the legal services opinion which enables ongoing finance of institutional settings will be withdrawn today? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. We are carefully studying the UN Committee's newly published guidelines on the institutionalization. But what I want to say is that all that we do is in that the direction. And as I mentioned in my speech, the Commission will produce guidelines for member states on how to implement obligations under the UNCR PD, which uphold the right of persons with disabilities, children deprived of parental care, and other persons to live independently and be included in the community. So I think, but when we are doing all this, we have to look holistically at what we are doing. For instance, the employment package, which I launched last week, is in this direction also, to help persons with disabilities lead independent life, because financial independence is very important as well. So we are working with and encouraging employers especially to change, because sometimes there's the legislation and then there's the culture and the attitudes which we need to change. Many member states, for instance, have legislation which says that there should be a number of persons with disabilities employed in the particular workforce. But we know from experience that there are employers who are ready to pay the fine, which comes out of the law, and not employ persons with disabilities. So these are the realities which we are facing every day. So there's the guidelines, there's the legislation, there are all the good things that need to be done, and some of them are obligations, some of them are legal obligations, but somehow if we do not work on the culture and on the attitudes, progress will be very slow. So these are we are offering guidelines in the package which we presented last week to help employers to understand that this is an obligation, and also that as societies, we are throwing away talent, because everybody has a talent, no matter what the disability. And so there isn't only the moral argument of fairness, of inclusion, of embracing diversity, which is a strength, but there's also the economic argument that we are wasting a lot of talent in our societies. And we invest in education and in training, but then we do not get the return for that investment, because some employers are adamant that they will not employ persons with disabilities. So this is just, but to me, employment is very important for the independence of everyone, of every citizens, and not least for persons with disabilities. So in everything that we do, even when it comes to frameworks for funding, for instance, we are always saying that we will not fund institutions, but we will fund you to help you assist persons with disabilities to get out of these institutions. And also, if you look at the care package, which we presented at the beginning of September, that is also helpful in working towards this deinstitutionalization of persons with disabilities, of the elderly also, because we are looking at the care sector in terms of the conditions of work. Why aren't people attracted to this sector? And mainly it is because the conditions of work are not so good. And we all need care. We might need childcare, we might need elderly care for our parents, with persons with disabilities need care. So how is it that this is something that we all need, but the subject isn't so interesting to many people? I will only say that when we presented the care package, there were 3 commissioners, and when we did our presentation, not one journalist had a question for us. So that shows to me, I'm a sociologist and I observe these things. And I thought, you know, if we spoke about energy, we would have had 100 questions right now. And rightly so, because energy is very important. But so is care. So is care for every person. Some people have children, some people have elderly parents, some people have a disability. So we all, each and every one of us, need the care sector. But we need to change this culture of looking at care work as the Cinderella of jobs. This is how I see it. Like, if you can't find a job, you go into care work, or if you don't have any qualifications, you go into care work, and they will teach you on the job, because there is so much need for care workers. But carers are necessary if we are to work on deinstitutionalization. You can't take people out of an institution and not give them the adequate care which they need in the community. So this is why I'm saying that even things which we are presenting at first glance may not seem that they are related to the issue of disability, but they are. You know, so globally we are looking. I understand your question, and I'm not avoiding it, but as you know, then there is member state competence. So there is so much that we can do in terms of deinstitutionalization. We are very vigilant on member states, and we also have the reports on member states, and obviously if there is institutionalization, we mentioned that in the report, and of course member states don't like that. We are, as I said, our policies, all our policies and legislation is aimed towards deinstitutionalization. All our frameworks for funding are done on the precondition of deinstitutionalization. So we leave no stone unturned, but then the buck stops with the member state where we do not have competence. But rest assured that that is our policy, and whatever we are doing in the social sector is aimed in that direction of deinstitutionalization, not only of persons with disabilities, but also of the elderly. And we are always talking about the importance of people being in their community and to do all that we can and give all the assistance we can, so that as many people as possible can live independently in a dignified way.